Do you want your children to be successes in life? If you do, teach them to be competent. Teach them how to do one thing well and thoroughly, and as it should be done, and you have secured fame and fortune for them. It doesn't make a particle of difference what the thing is that they do, whether it is sewing on buttons or managing a trust. People will be seeking their services and offering them their own prices because a man or woman who is capable of turning out a good, honest, reliable piece of work is a marked person in the community and everybody is after him or her. The young man who gets a reputation for being a competent bookkeeper, who is quick and accurate, never has to walk the street looking for a job. Employers, worn out with the slovenly work of men whose ledgers will never balance, are out hunting for him and offering him more money to come to them. The dressmaker whose gowns always fit, and whose skirts hang right, can charge what she pleases, and women, disheartened with having their goods ruined, sit humbly at her feet and importune her to condescend to sew for them. The cook whose meats are always done to a turn and whose sauces have a flavor doesn't stay a cook. He becomes a high-salaried chef. Who are the successful men? Who are the great lawyers and the famous doctors? Simply the men who are competent in their profession, who have made profound studies of law and medicine, not the men who practice law and medicine by guess. Who are the successful merchants? Just the men who have mastered every detail of their business, the men who know how to buy and how to sell, whose customers know that they are going to get just what they order, delivered on time, and in good condition. The merchants who go into bankruptcy are those whose stocks are ill-chosen, whose counters are unattractive, and who are always making mistakes that keep their customers in a constant state of irritation and drive them to some other store, run by a competent man. The world is full of failures simply because the great majority of people never take the trouble to learn how to do anything properly. These are those who do the same task over and over again every day for 30 or 40 years without ever doing it right, and yet these poor blundering creatures, who stay amateurs all of their lives, instead of graduating into professionals, complain that they are never well paid. The blame is on their own heads. They are not worth paying. Why should we pay a high price to the carpenter who comes and puts up a crooked shelf for us, or a plumber who has to make 3 trips to stop a leak, or a locksmith whose locks never catch, or a housemaid who never sweeps under the bed, or a seamstress whose clumsy sewing we have to rip out and do over again? Heaven knows we are all glad enough to pay the people who can turn off a neat, workmanlike job. It is a blessed rest to meet up with anybody who is competent and on whom we can rely to do properly the thing that he or she undertakes to do. A great mystery is made of success. We speak of it as of something occult, some fetish before which we make obeisance. Parents say darkly that they hope and pray that their children may be successful when they grow up, and it never seems to occur to them that the matter is in their own hands, for the whole secret of success consists simply in doing whatever you do well. Any mother can settle the question of whether her children are going to succeed or not by the time they are 10 years old. The woman who teaches her little boy to carry a message straight from the library to the kitchen without dilly-dallying, or forgetting, or being sidetracked by the way, has laid the foundation for success in life for him. He will grow up to be the kind of a man that can be depended on to carry out an employer's orders, and that is the first step towards being able to give orders of his own. The mother who teaches her little daughter how to make her doll clothes neatly, and to put good honest stitches in them that will hold has started her on the road to success. That's the kind of a girl that grows up knowing how to do things, to keep house systematically and orderly, and to be a blessing to everybody with whom she is thrown in contact as long as she lives. Success lies in the child. It does not make any difference how small a task a child is given to do. The parents who want him to succeed in life should take the trouble to see that he does it properly, and not in a slovenly, incompetent, messy sort of a way. Even children's play should be supervised, and they should be taught to play a game according to the rules, to build a neat block house, or a kite that will fly, or set a doll's table as a real table should be set. Because right then and there, in those little things, the child's habits are being formed and the question of its success, or its failure is being settled. I know a very wonderful man, who against almost insuperable difficulties had struggled to a brilliant success, and I have often heard him attribute his ability to achieve to his father. I have really been beaten, and down and out a dozen times, he says. But when I was a child, my father would never let me stop playing a game when I was losing. He made me keep on until I won, and that formed the habit in me of just fighting on in the face of discouragements. I just can't give up because it was bred in me not to, and in the end, of course, if you struggle long enough, things always come your way. There is a universal cry for competent workers. They are wanted everywhere, and people are willing to pay them good money for good work. It is only the unfit, the incompetent for whom there is no place. Teach your children how to do whatever they do well, and you will have no need to importune the gods to send them success. They will achieve it for themselves.